Hey guys, it's Gretchen and welcome back to my channel. As I mentioned in a recent video about what to wear to a tattoo appointment, I have a new piece starting soon. I just spit everywhere. And it is going to be on my thigh. And it started getting me thinking about all the tattoos that I've gotten, which in the process of thinking about all the tattoos that I've gotten before, I start to pick up more on some like issues with said tattoos. And so today's video is kind of a regret slash mistakes regarding my tattoos video. I don't regret most of my tattoos, and it's less regret and more just like, I kind of wish I had thought about it a little bit more. And then there are some like little mistakes with the tattoos that I personally see. Others may not see it, but because it is on my body, I see it a little bit more so. But for today's video, I thought I would just kind of talk about the ones that I either kind of like, sort of regret or wish I had thought a little bit more on, or ones that I see mistakes in, or they might possibly have both. We'll see. Now, there are some tattoos that are neither. They don't have a regret or a mistake along with them. So I'll just get to that tattoo and be like, nope, they're good, let's move along. But you know, for something that's permanent on your body, you sometimes start to think about them a little bit more. You start to pick up things that you may not have seen originally, yada, yada, yada. So I'm just gonna go in order, kind of like I did with the tattoo pain levels. I'm gonna do the same thing and just go in order from when I got them, starting with the oldest and ending with the newest. So yeah. So the first one is my book. This was the first tattoo I ever got. I believe the year was 2014, almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in June, I believe, which that just blows my mind that my first one was that long ago now. So for this tattoo, there are not really any mistakes other than the fact that there is a tiny piece where you can see the ink lifted, but I feel like at 5 years old, touch-ups are gonna be part of it anyway, and especially since it's on my wrist, so it's a little bit more exposed than other tattoos. I mean, I kind of knew that was gonna happen, so I'm not counting that as a mistake. However, there are a few regrets. I'm putting regrets in quotes because I don't regret the tattoo. It's just now that my taste has changed, I critique it a little bit more. So the first thing is I regret ripping it from the internet. I went on Pinterest and typed in book tattoo and it's the first one that came up. And so I literally printed the picture from the internet and took it in to the shop and that's what I got put on me. So the fact that I took someone else's artwork and put it on my body, I really regret that. I didn't know any better at the time. I just thought that it was fair game. I regret that it's not very dimensional. Like, it looks like a really good tattoo, but then if you look at it, it's just very flat. There's no feel to it. I don't know. It just seems like a square with lines. It doesn't really resemble a book to me. Like, at first glance it does, and when I first got it, it does, and really up until several months ago, I was like, yeah, this is a book, but now I'm just like, it's not very dimensional at all, and it's just kind of like, eh. And then I also regret that I have it facing me. Like, now that I know how tattoos should be, it's subjective. I really wish that it was facing away from me. Like, I get people are like, no, you know, it's your tattoo. If you want to see it, you know, you should have it facing you, but I'm like, I don't know, because I want so many tattoos now, I'd rather it be facing in the same direction as them. So, like, my bird is facing down. My lyrics right here, facing down. Book, facing me. I don't know. One of these days, this may get covered up. What, you know, now that I've got like a theme going on, but it's also my first tattoo. I don't know if I'd want to. Next is the cat and dog silhouette that I have. This is one that I've talked about reworking before because my biggest regret is that it is ripped from the internet. Just like the book. I went on Pinterest and I started looking up cat and dog tattoos and that showed up and I liked how they were like interwoven together and had like a silhouette look to them. But yeah, again, ripped from the internet. I really wish that I had known better at the time, but it was my second tattoo, so I didn't. I regret that I didn't speak up to the artist when she showed me her rendition of it because the lines are so thick. Like, they are super thick, way thicker than the original image or what I had intended. But I didn't think that I could like speak up and give my remarks to the artist. So I was just like, okay. And I really wish I had spoken up. And then I regret just how blah it is. You know, compared to like my tiger or my crow or hydrangeas, it is just a very blah tattoo, which is why I've talked about wanting to rework it and, you know, add some watercolor into it or even cover it up entirely and just having something similar cat dog related down there. I don't know, but I do regret that it's very, there's gonna be a lot of that sound because a lot of my like first tattoos are just take a shot every time I, oh god, that's bad. Don't do that. Y'all might get drunk by this video. Next is the Celtic knot. The only thing for this one is I want it covered. It served its purpose. For those that don't know, I don't know what is going on with this piece of hair, but it's feeling like a really weird antenna and it's bugging me. So for those that don't know, the Celtic knot on my wrist, it stands for New Beginnings, and I got it on a date that used to have meaning to me, like a year after things happened. It served its purpose. I got my new beginning and it was wonderful, but I don't need it anymore. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you can always have new beginnings, but I know what that tattoo is connected with, and I don't want any remembrance of that anymore. It served its purpose for that specific reason, and now I want it gone. So that's my only thing, is I just want it covered. Next one are my song lyrics. I love this tattoo. However, again, it's a kind of blah one. It's just lyrics. It's a little bit in the way because I do want to do more with this arm, and it's smack dab in the middle. I'd still keep it, but I'd have to work around it. I'd have to, you know, get my artist to try and work their way around that to incorporate it so that it's not just like a sore thumb there. So it's just kind of, to me, it's in the way. I wish I had kind of picked a better location for it, but you know, I still like it because there are lyrics that I still really enjoy and like to live by. Next is the fleur-de-lis, my LSU one on the back of my neck. My only regret here / mistake, because the artist didn't really give me what I wanted, but at the same time I also didn't speak up, is that I really wish it had resembled more watercolor-like. Like that was the purpose of it, was to be the fleur-de-lis symbol with LSU colors as a watercolor. If anything, it just kind of looks like paint droplets. Of course, I got a newish artist. Watercolor is not the easiest thing to pull off. They did the best they could. So that's my only kind of regret with it / the mistake of it, is that I really wish I had spoken up more and said that I wanted more of a watercolor look, and then I wish that it had turned out as I envisioned. Next is the lotus on my finger. My only regret there is that it was ripped again from the internet. Pinterest. Typed in lotus designs. Bam, there it is. It's my only regret. I'm actually very happy with this one though, because it has held up really well, especially for a finger tattoo, like surprisingly well. Next is my fluorite crystal. Here's the first tattoo that I don't regret or doesn't have any mistakes. I love that thing. It's a little big, but I still love it. It's so colorful. Following that are my forget-me-not flowers. Next tattoo that I don't regret, or that there's nothing wrong with it. I love them. They're beautiful. They make me think of my pop-up every time I see them, and I absolutely love them. Following that is my tiger. Nothing wrong with that thing, and I don't regret it at all. Love that tattoo, and I can't wait for my wolf tattoo to match it on the other thigh. Following that is my squirrel and pearls. The only thing about that one is that it didn't heal the best, which I don't know if that was still something that I did, or if that skin was a little bit different from the rest of my body, but ink lifted in some areas, and that's just typical. So that's not really a mistake or a regret. It's just kind of like, I gotta go get it touched up. Ugh, so that's more of a pain. So I don't really regret anything there. And again, there's no mistake with that squirrel, just some ink lifted in some, I guess, rougher areas. Next are my hydrangeas. I regret nothing about that, and there are no mistakes. I mean, that thing is perfect. It's like, I love that tattoo so much. Better than I could have imagined. Next is the kind of sunflower addition that I got to the squirrel and pearls. That one, again, ink lifted from certain patches on it that were a little bit difficult to heal. I mean, the squirrel and the sunflower are right next to each other, so maybe it's just that section of the forearm that was harder to heal. But I do have one regret, and that is it's bigger than I had originally wanted. I just wanted like a small sunflower addition that was kind of equal size of the leaf, but it just, I don't know, it was a little bit bigger than I anticipated, but that's no one's mistake or no one's fault. It was just how it worked out. Next is my crow in my skull over here, the amaryllis blooms. The only regret that I have about that one is that the crow resembles a raven more than it does a crow. Its purpose is to look like a crow, but because of its beak and having like the feathers and fur here on the beak, it looks more like a raven. And so when people see it, they're like, oh, I love your raven. I'm like, thanks. I'm okay with it being a raven, but because it was coming from a song lyric about a crow, I wish it resembled a crow more than it does a raven. That's my only regret. Next are my music notes. Back here, there's that antenna again. I regret nothing with that, and there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, I can't really see them, but every so often I'll like pull my neck forward to look at them. They look great. It's a nice little space right there. I don't ever plan on having something like tattoo around my neck like this, so I'm perfectly fine with them being right there. But yeah, they're great. I love them. Next up is the moon. All right, don't get me started on this tattoo. So I got a moon on my finger. From a distance, it doesn't look bad, it just looks like a crescent moon. I'm gonna give y'all a close-up of this moon. What the fuck even is this shit? This moon is not even a month old, and it looks like I've had it for years. I mean, the ink lifted so bad. I don't know what's going on with this. This is the worst thing I have ever seen. It's small, the shape is poor, and yes, that is my fault. I probably should have said something a little bit better. I'm okay with it being smaller and the shape being a little bit different than I wanted. But the fact that it is faded as hell and it's less than a month old, that's not okay. Now, luckily the artist is going to do a touch-up for free when I go back, but it shouldn't have been this way. Like the fact that this one never faded. I've had this one for 3 years now. It was 3 years this month. And this one's less than a month old and it looks like I've had it for a decade. There's something wrong there. I don't know what happened. I will say this was the first time I ever used, what is it, Saniderm? The artist put Saniderm on it and he told me to leave it on for 3 days. So I did. Didn't take it off. I just went about my routine like normal. And then when I finally took it off and started caring for it like normally, that's what happened. I don't know what happened there, but it's just, to me, it's a botch job, so I regret it. And finally is my hedgehog here in my inner elbow, right here. The only regret I have is that he has like a strawberry sticking on his head, and it's a little weird. Kind of looks like it's stuck into one of his quills, which is kind of funny because my hedgehog that I used to own, she used to get stuff stuck on her all the time. So I guess it's kind of fitting, but I don't know, it just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. He also has a flower up there, like there's just a random flower and strawberry just chilling up on his head. So I think that's my only like regret, is that addition. Like all the strawberries and flowers around him are fine, but then there are just these two that are just like on his head, but he's still adorable and I love him. But yeah, that's my only regret. And I don't even regret it because once I add more animals, they'll all kind of mesh together. And that might have been the point, is that eventually I'm gonna add another animal here, you know, all over, and all their like little elements are gonna mesh together. But I just think right now it's a little funny. It looks like he rolled around his strawberries and got one stuck on his head. But those are my tattoo mistakes, regrets, whatever you wanna call it. I don't really regret any of them. They serve their purpose for the time that I got it done. The first ones I ever got, I never thought I'd get huge tattoos or colorful ones, and I did. But styles change over time, people change over time. I now know what kind of style I want, and I know that I want larger tattoos. Find yourself a good artist and you can usually get things covered pretty well. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm not like, oh my God, this is awful, except for this moon. Like, I just don't understand why it's so faded. It looks like it's over 10 years old. I don't understand. And I know finger tattoos are a little bit more difficult. I'm going to do a whole video about finger tattoos soon, but I'm just like, what happened? So that's the only one that I really am just like, what about? Let me know in the comments below if you yourself have tattoos that maybe have a few mistakes to them that you see. You know, others may not see any of these mistakes, but because they're on our bodies, we are a little bit more critical of them and we think a little bit more about them. You know, some people may be like, yeah, those aren't really mistakes. And it's just like, I don't know, it's on my body. I just see it that way. Well, let me know in the comments below if you have any tattoos that you either regret or had thought a little bit longer on. Not necessarily regret them, but just had thought a little bit more on, or there are some mistakes there that you'd like to get touched up or reworked or covered. Let me know. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big ol' thumbs up. Go on down there and hit that subscribe button wherever it may be, because I don't know. Even though I do, this is just my shtick now. Also hit that notification bell in case you want to know when I upload, and in case YouTube wants to let you know when I upload, because I would really appreciate it. And until next time, bye guys.